Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and welcome back to part 9 of the life and suffering of Sir Brante. So last we left off, we were just arriving in the capital. I think I've decided that I'm going to pursue the noble path in this playthrough. It's just unfortunately our spirituality skills aren't where I'd like them to be, and I don't want to do a half-arsed clergy run through. I want to have the skills ready for it. And looking back on previous decisions and watching other Let's Players, there's actually quite a few decisions we could have made that would have improved our spirituality a lot. So I'm going to follow the noble path in this playthrough and then do a clergy one next, with the knowledge of the game a bit more. So let's see what awaits us as we try to go to the Imperial College and earn a noblehood for ourselves, and possibly enter the Blue Book for our family. The year 1134, Chapter 3, Arrival in the Capital. It takes a whole month to reach Eterna. You and Tomas spend the days wagging your chins and staring at the scenery as your carriage makes its way along the road and towards the next province. Soon it crosses from the familiar barren, arid lands of Magra to the stately mountains of Illyria. During one of your many stays at a roadside inn, the two of you even manage to share a whole bottle of strong wine and keep it a secret from the servant who drives the carriage. Adult life feels positively intoxicating. Soon, I tell you, soon we'll be there, and I'll earn my sword as soon as I get accepted into the military academy, you'll see, and then nobody's gonna walk all over me like I'm some commoner. You keep rehearsing everything they taught you in school. Soon you are almost at the end of your long journey. You've left behind the arid rocks of Magra, the mountains of Illyria, and the flooded meadows of Archnia. Eterna, the capital, is right ahead. Situated at the junction between the Reglata and Talrina rivers, the city is vast. 3 majestic stone bridges keep its 3 shores interconnected. Smooth stone paves the city streets. Gilded mouldings decorate the buildings. Towering pillars reach high into the sky. Your carriage takes you past a spacious park with marble foundations and intricately trimmed bushes. On the streets you see ornately decorated carriages bearing Archnean coats of arms and abundant merchants' tents filling the streets, with beckoning cries and unusual sights. The spires of ancient temples dot the city skyline. The carriage comes to a halt on a large city square with a towering marble fountain. The coachman says you have arrived. Tomas is to apply to the military academy. The academy barracks are 2 streets away. Your lodging house is in the alleyway nearby. A room has already been reserved for you. You get out onto the street and say brief goodbyes to each other. You promise to meet again after the entrance exams. Then your friend disappears into the crowded streets of the capital. You are left to your own devices in this vast city. A group of nobles walk past. They are dressed in well-fitting clothing, decorated with gems and golden thread. You are not even noticed. Street urchins chase a dog down the alleyway. Soldiers of the Imperial Legion are marching to fifes and drums towards the barracks. Humble pilgrims are gathering to the great Temple of the Twins. There are the sounds of music and fountains, and the smells of baked bread and garbage trains. You quickly check in at the lodging house, then go back outside. The sun is setting. The streetlights come to life. Merry music fills the taverns. Couples and noble coaches with tinted windows fill the streets. Shadows and hushed voices and laughter fill the parks. You are all alone with this city, so vast and unfamiliar. You take a look around, determined to fill your first night in the capital with memories. You see young nobles gathered by the fountain, talking and making jokes excitedly. One of them keeps glancing at the clock tower. They are about your age. Their clothes are hand-tailored and 2 of them bear noble swords. They seem to be waiting for something. It might be a good idea to make their acquaintance. It would be helpful to develop a familiarity with the influential nobles of the capital. Loud music from a large establishment on the corner distracts you for a moment. The servants have just opened the shutters to air out the hall. It seems there will be a gathering inside. People from various estates greet each other as they take their seats. A servant by the door of the establishment hails you. Sir Gert Arkwright will be making a speech about the rights of the common estate. If you wish to listen, you'd better get inside quickly. Now we've got to choose nobility, commoners, or no doubt a temple. Then you look at the great temple of the twins at the far end of the street. The pillar shines in the evening dusk above it. The temple gates are open and worshippers are flocking inside. There are too many people for an ordinary service. This must be something important. What do they preach here in the capital? What do they say of the new faith and the teachings of Patriarch Photis? You snap out of your reverie when you hear loud laughter. A group of young men dressed in the colours of the Imperial College have made the acquaintance of several lovely girls. They are making their way down the road, united by merriment. One of the girls smiles at you. It is an invitation to join them. They turn the corner and walk away, but you can still hear their voices ringing and echoing through the street. A night of revelry and jolly, loud fun doesn't sound half bad. This is your first night in Eterna. No matter what you choose, you will remember it for a long time. I think if I'm committing to the noble path, I want to meet the noble youths. Although I'm afraid that they might end up not wanting to talk to me because I'm a commoner, but we'll see. You approach the young nobles and introduce yourself tactfully. Your father, a judge, has sent you here to study, you explain. Would they mind showing you around the capital? The nobles eye you uncertainly and whisper to each other. You prepare to face their rejection, but to your surprise, they agree. Oh. When the clock tower strikes 8, your new acquaintances proceed to a rich house not too far away. Oh god, I hope you don't prank us. Candlelight fills the hall before you, reflected in abundant mirrors and gilded picture frames. Manservants bring drinks and refreshments to every guest. There are the sounds of music and laughter and small talk. Here and there you see couples dancing to the music. It appears you have made it to a small noble party. The nobles are gathered in groups. You take the time to get introduced to each of them and join in their small talk. Some discuss their studies at the college, while others relay fresh gossip. Have you heard that the Milanidas carriage was seen in the city the other day? You mention how you once encountered Octavia Milanidas, daughter and heiress to the Archduke of Magra, at a square in Anisot. These words draw a small crowd. The Milanidas dynasty rarely, if ever, visits Eterna. They say it is the only house that can stand its ground against the Imperial Tempest dynasty. One young man even allows himself a little joke. They say the great Archnean houses turn to a Milanidas only when a Tempest needs to be refused. After all, only the Milanidas dynasty still knows how to say no. But there is more. It turns out all humans owe the Milanidas dynasty for their foray into nobility. Char Milanidas was the Archnean who opened the first college, and its graduates were the first to be ennobled by the mantle. To feed and nourish their barren land, the Dukes of Magla took to industry and began adopting innovative industrial and social practices. The dynasty's motto is remembrance and majesty, but strife and change would suit them better. The nobles start discussing the other great Archnean dynasties. The Tempest dynasty is the first of the first, naturally, marked by the twins as anointed to rule. All Tempests are known for their sincerity, often bordering on a volatile temper, yet it is this very passion that has led them throughout history. The Tempests have been chosen by the gods to rule the empire. The Diamond dynasty are the main supporters of the emperor's family, honor and personified. The Diamants preside at the Archnean courts of honor that remain throughout the empire, in spite of the public taboo. These courts hold more sway over the laws and lives of the nobility than imperial edicts or prefectural authorities. Some mention Patriarch Eunice Diamant, the black sheep of his own dynasty. He preaches the new faith that rejects the lots and stirs the minds of the common folk. The Orgriff dynasty is another noble bloodline favoured by the emperor. They zealously advocate the twins' faith and see the empire as the union between heaven and earth. Every year the Orgriffs donate enough funds to build new temples across the empire. The Monroe dynasty is an ancient and controversial name. The Monroes often speak in favour of removing humans from nobility, restoring nobility as a solely Arachnean privilege, and returning all human-manned offices in the Empire to Arachneans. Many gossipers accuse the Monroes of plotting against the rule of the Tempests to bring back the old Arachnean Republic and the joint rule of the great Arachnean dynasties as it existed long before the emperors first came to be. The discussion of courtly affairs and noble dynasties soon gives way to cultured entertainment. Expensive wine flows like water. You, too, ask a couple noble ladies to dance and show your skill. You return to your lodging room in the small hours of the night, with just enough strength left to undress before your aching head and feet make you collapse. For the first time in your life, you have mingled with a noble crowd on your own without your family's aid. And we did quite well. +1 diplomacy, +1 manipulation. And willpower went down, but that's okay. It's now 10. So that's a good start. Making our way with the nobles in Eterna. Arrival to the capital, year 1134. You arrived in Eterna, the ancient capital of the blessed Arachnean Empire. I am sad I have to wait a little bit longer for the clergy playthrough, but still quite a lot yet to happen. Luke's sermon. You have spent the last 3 days studying books, but today you decide to take a walk through the streets of Eterna. They are full of life as usual. You proceed to the square next to the lodging house. A procession of priests walks through the square. You notice that one of them holds a banner of the new faith, an open book. This is the same banner that was behind Patriarch Photis on the day of his assassination. A crowd immediately gathers around them. Many people are looking at an icon painting on a small pedestal depicting a grey-haired man with glowing green eyes. You recognize that face. The face of the late Patriarch Photis. A man with a thick beard appears by the icon painting. His broad shoulders bear a white and gold cloak with a coat of arms of the capital province embroidered on it. He is Luke, Patriarch of Arachnia. He casts his stern gaze over the crowd. I speak to you all who have lived within the sight of the Shining Pillar. Exactly 1 year ago we lost Photis, Patriarch of the Maglar province, mentor of the new faith. Patriarch Photis was the first to see the books of Isatius for nothing but the words of a man, not the words of the twins themselves. He was the first to tell people to seek the path to the gods in their own hearts instead of blindly following the lots, to seek answers in the lives of the twins and their own hearts, rather than the words of priests. Through Patriarch Photis we were able to see the truth. Through his death we saw that his words are not heresy, they are the truth that used to be obscured by Isatius' lies. And now I bring good news. Patriarch Eunice Diamant has seen to it that our teacher will be canonized as a saint. Yes, Eunice Diamant, an Arachnean from a great dynasty and the Patriarch of Astinia, has joined the new faith himself. And through this we hope that the entire empire will soon see that our doctrine is the truth. We are free from the shackles of the lots. We are equal before the twins. With each day more and more people hearken to the truth, and one day the entire empire will hear our call. So, let us pray, my brothers. The believers around you bow their heads in prayer and thank the twins. Not for the lot they were given, as they usually would, but for the chance to choose their own path. The Patriarch's sermon is inspiring. It compels your hands to meet in a sign of prayer. It compels your lips to repeat the words of the new faith. Patriarch Luke's sermon forms a cadence, and your heart beats in time with it now. You recall the murder of Patriarch Photis a year ago. It seems more patriarchs share his doctrine now. The news of Eunice Diamant joining the new faith is stunning. If an Arachnean from a great dynasty has sided with the Photis' doctrine and agreed to see everyone as equals under the twins, the new faith must truly be putting down roots. But suddenly, several figures appear by the podium, figures clad in black with glinting silver on their sides. Inquisitors. They push through the crowd and form a circle around Patriarch Luke. One of these priests rises before the crowd. He is clean-shaven, tall, with chiseled features. Everyone falls silent at the sight of him. The Inquisitor speaks with a booming voice that can be heard by all. I am Father Ulrich, In the name of the twins, and by my right as an Inquisitor, I order you to turn around and leave. The words you're hearing are full of lies. Patriarch Luke has set out to poison your hearts and minds, and the Inquisition will not allow this heresy to spread. The only true path in life is the will of the twins. Life offers us no other choice. You are hereby ordered to disperse at once. Most people leave the square immediately. Few want to get involved with the Inquisition. Some people stay, however, and some even shout angrily, "We want to listen to Luke! He is the Patriarch of Archnia, and he has more to say. Get away from our sermon, old believers. We will not listen to you and your hoary old lies about the lots." Inquisitors, bring those who may yet listen back to the lots, and leave the others to the champions of faith. The black-clad Inquisitors descend from the podium and approach the people who choose to stay. With nothing but their words, they make people stop shouting and start listening. The uproar ceases quickly. They have dissected the crowd, split it into smaller groups that surround each Inquisitor. One of these Inquisitors chooses to approach you. He is a humble-looking man of age with a rough haircut. He looks you straight in the eye as his lively, soulful voice forces you to listen to his words, despite yourself. My name is Father Jeremiah. I know your thoughts were stirred by the Patriarch's words. You are not sure whom to trust. But I teach at the seminary. I have been studying the teachings of the twins my entire life. You can trust me. I know you can hear what I have to say. I see the light in your eyes, the light of the true faith. Will you listen to my counsel, my son? You feel no malice in the words of Inquisitor Jeremiah, only hope. It is his lot to aid you, to guide you away from error and set you on the path of the true faith. He is a priest, so he should know the truth. Or perhaps the Inquisitor himself is in the wrong. I quite like him. I think this character is going to be a noble supporting the old order. Let us listen to his counsel. At this crossroads in your life in an unfamiliar city, you honestly need advice. You lower your gaze and ask Father Jeremiah to show you the way and guide you from error and doubt. The Inquisitor smiles and takes your hand. My son, all of us may sometimes stray from the path predetermined by the twins. You are well dressed, yet I presume you are of the common estate, are you not? You nod, and Father Jeremiah sighs. In these difficult times, people of your estate are the ones most tormented by doubt. Your lot is suffering, but not all of you are ready to suffer. Some turn to guile and cunning to avoid it, and they end up in eternity's embrace at the foot of the pillar. Please understand, my son, your lot requires humility. Suffering is inevitable, so is doubt. Each of them may temper your soul, yet each may also destroy it. But know this, if you have doubts, you are always welcome at the temple. No priest will turn you away in a moment of weakness. This is why we exist, to fortify faith in the hearts of all people, to bring the word of the twins to those who have gone astray. Know this, the Inquisition does not imprison everyone suspected of heresy. We exist to protect souls, to guide and save them. We pursue dangerous doctrines and seek to rescue every soul we meet. That's interesting now. That they could have played the Inquisitors off as just the bad guys, but Jeremiah tells us it's not that simple. Arrest or execution is our last resort, reserved only for sinners beyond redemption. You can see that I am merely speaking to you right now. I have not resorted to force, nor am I giving you orders. You are following your lot by hearing my counsel with humility. With this in mind, consider the following. Did the Patriarch speak the truth? You consider this question. Your fascination with Patriarch Luke's speech has vanished. Was it a sermon or a temptation? The Patriarch of Archnia made you doubt your fate and your lot. He made you see darkness and doubt. Well, all this time your lot has remained the same as the one you were born with. You fold your hands in prayer and thank the Inquisitor for his counsel. The light of the twins will keep you on their path, and not even a Patriarch will ever be able to intervene. Only a new sacrament, and not your will, can change your lot, you explain, and only the Imperial College can lead to a second sacrament. Your voice starts shaking as you say this. Father Jeremiah notices this. This is not the only way, my son. You can always come to the divine seminary and become a priest. If you come to the seminary and prove you deserve the lot of the clergy, you will be accepted. I teach there, and I always am happy to see students of considerable talent. Your connection to the twins is strong indeed. Only people such as you have it in them to guide and care for others. The work of a priest is no less important than the work of a judge. You bid farewell to Father Jeremiah. While you were talking, the world around you seemed to vanish. There was just you, him, and the word of the twins. The square is calm now. The Inquisitors are providing counsel to those who remain. Patriarch Luke and his retinue can no longer be seen. You walk back to the lodging house, mulling over Father Jeremiah's words about the seminary. Your family sent you to earn a noble title, but you have an opportunity to become a priest of the old faith or the new. If you see your destiny in service to the gods, no one has the right to stand in your way. Excuse me. And we got an increase of theology. Very good. Although it's a shame I've decided I want to be a noble, but I'm going to take the clergy route as canon for Morgan Brante. Well, actually, he won't be Morgan, he'll be somebody else. Year 1134, Fall. The advance of the new faith. Patriarch Luke's sermon has converted many commoners and nobles of the mantle to the new faith. There are now several temples in Eterna that follow the new canons and Luke's blessing. This has led to no small amount of anger among the followers of the old faith. Two mighty bishops of the church lead the new faith. One of them is Luke, the Patriarch of Archnia himself, spiritual mentor of the capital province. He preaches all across Archnia, his every sermon adding to the new faith's flock. The other leader of the new faith is Patriarch Eunice Diamant. Hailing from a great Archnian dynasty, he is the de facto ruler of the Astynia province. Adorned by his subjects, he has founded the Holy Order anew. Eunice Diamant rarely preaches, but people believe the Astynian Patriarch attends to the needs of all those who convert to the new faith. This schism within the church is growing. The split has furthered the divide between the commoners and the nobles, though thankfully there has been no direct conflict as of yet. But it has become clear that there is no way to stop the steady advance of the new faith. Born from the death of Patriarch Photis, it grows stronger by the day. The church grows closer to schism, and the world goes closer to unrest. We're caught up in the middle of it. The city that never sleeps. The next few weeks pass by in hard work and preparation for the coming entrance exam at the Imperial College. You grow more and more exhausted with each passing day, so much so that one night you fall asleep while studying another book. When you finally come to, you decide it is high time to get some recreation outside. The city of Eterna amazes you as you stroll through its splendid streets. It is another night, a different night, yet the city is beautifully still. The shining pillar is a slice of light against the dark night sky. The lamps of the facades of the buildings are lit. Night descends on the capital. You don't feel like going back to your books tonight. Recently you made the acquaintance of several young men. They are children of nobles of the mantle just like you, sent to the capital to earn their noble titles at the college. You decide to seek them out. Your new friends are having a late dinner on the next street over, loudly discussing their plans for the night. Some speak eagerly of a dueling club where you can see the most skilled and ardent duelers in the Empire doing what they do best. You've never seen professional duelers fight. It must be far more exciting than Father's fencing lessons or that fight in the ruins in Anisot. And if luck favours you, perhaps you can even make useful contacts among the noble families in the capital. The others try to convince the rest to take a trip to a certain secret salon. The establishment is expecting a guest tonight, they say, a young lady who speaks about the true state of affairs in the Empire. There are many questions about the nature of the place and the identity of the mysterious speaker, but the young men have only one answer. They are forbidden to speak about this outside the club. However, they can take you there as long as you aren't afraid to learn a dangerous truth. Ooh. There are others still drinking their fill of wine rather than eating. Fencing, they say. Speeches? Nonsense. The place you ought to go tonight, they claim, is the Markian Society, a gathering for those of common estate but uncommon opinions that offers pleasures for everyone. Pleasures of the palate, pleasures of drink, pleasures of the flesh. Is this not heresy and a crime? Perhaps. And yet some of your newfound friends are eager to go there. In the end, your group splits in three to spend the night as they see fit. What will it be? A contest featuring the best fencers in Eterna, an establishment both mysterious and dangerous, or an encounter with the people who defy their lot with audacity? You weigh your options. Okay, we're not going to the Markian Society. The Dueling Club or the Secret Salon? I mean, if I had chosen fencing, I would have definitely gone for the Dueling Club. But I also want to go to this Secret Salon and see what this mysterious lady has to say. I feel like I've gone off track now that I've decided I'm not doing the playthrough I want to do and I'm just going to commit to the noble. If I was... yeah. I'm going to go to the Dueling Club. I'm just focused on becoming a noble now and doing the best I can. The city that never sleeps. You march down the street towards the Dueling Club, which is located in a manor house decorated rather modestly on the outside but lavishly on the inside. I guess actually this makes up quite well for the fact we didn't do fencing as a kid, so we're going to see dueling now. One of your newfound friends nods to the servants and they let you in. The rooms are stuffy, noisy and filled with tobacco smoke. The sitting room is enormous. In the centre is an arena, a circle with wooden railings. Two young nobles are fighting there already. You take a glass of wine from a servant and watch the fight from one of the many soft chairs. You cannot bear a sword yet, but nobody says you cannot watch. As soon as a jeweler is wounded, the fight ends, but the way they fight still makes the audience gasp and scream in awe. When a jeweler is too slow to dodge, the duel ends with a bright red line cut through his sweat-soaked white shirt. The twin fencing swords cut through the air so quickly, you only see glints of flashing steel, like lightning in a storm. You do your best to remember all the feints and tricks you see tonight. They will come in handy when you earn your own sword. But then a tall young Archnian enters the room. He barges in from behind you and leaps into the arena between the two fencers, thus ending the duel. He bears a coat of arms with a griffin. This Archnian hails from the great dynasty of Orgriff. The Archnian's voice booms as he challenges everyone in the audience to a duel. He sneers smugly. If you consider yourself nobles, then how about you face an Archnian lord in honourable combat? No one moves. No one dares to step forth. A duel with an Archnian is suicide, especially if that Archnian hails from one of the great dynasties. Such a duel will end with a lesser death at best, or with a true death through trial and execution at worst. Everyone knows the punishment for spilling blue blood, and so everyone remains silent. I thought my laptop was charging. Oops. The Archnian grins. So humans are cowards, he says, and will never be true nobles if they are never ready to risk a lesser death. Then Archnian honour and tradition is not for you, and war is not your domain either, for human nobles are but a mockery, a gathering of animals dressed to resemble higher beings. A man leaps into the arena. He is tall as a tree. His pock-marked face is white with rage and covered in scars. The audience, there are whispers of reverence in the audience. This is Martha Ferrasti, the owner of the club. He has accepted the challenge for the honour of all human nobles. He has yearned to fight an Archnian all his life. Now is his chance. The jewelers salute each other, and Sir Ferrasti begins the attack. A lunge, a jab, another, and then another. The young Archnian deflects each attack like he knows his opponent's every move. Sir Ferasti's eyes twitch with tension. The owner of the club lunges again, but the Archnian deflects his sword and rips the weapon out of the human's hands. Marth Ferrasti looks at the Archnian in confusion, then bows his head in recognition of his defeat. The Orgriff youth flashes a proud, superior grin. His fencing sword lifts the sleeve of his defeated opponent, it bears 3 black marks of lesser death. Now the young Arcanian eyes Sir Ferasti with a mockery of sadness and compassion. Why, it appears the poor over-eager ex-commoner is on his last life. Ferasti shudders. He asks the Orgriff youth to be so kind as to spare his life, nobleman to a nobleman. The Arcanian's face grows dark and grim, his sword stabs deep into Ferasti's chest. Then the Orgriff youth speaks, loud enough for everyone to hear. He is the only noble in this hall, he says, and everyone who saw this must forget the Dueling Club ever existed and leave this place, never to return. The nobles scowl, dress reluctantly, and leave with quiet resentment. No one dares to defy the Arcanian openly. The noble gathering disperses outside. You return to your lodging house, lost in thought. Arcanians stand far above humans. They do not care if you are a commoner or a high-ranking noble. In their eyes, you are only human. It seems there is nothing that can readily oppose Arcanian power. They are the masters of this world, and humans are pale reflections of them at best. The trip to the Dueling Club ended on a grim note, but you learned a lot from watching Eterna's best duelers in action. You recalled their lunges and blocks before you sleep, rather than the master of the Dueling Club being murdered in cold blood. That's good, we've moved up a little bit. Although they're still quite far away from mediocre fighter to invincible. Well, it seems you might be shorter than the other one. Year 1135, Spring. The Code of Laws. You are on your way to the largest library in Eterna to study for your entry exams. It is right next to the college. The streets are full of people. Everybody is excited. You hesitate for a few seconds, then let your curiosity get the better of you, and head towards the place where you will soon study. Before long, you hear the shouting. The Great Chancellor is about to give a speech about the future of the Empire. You cannot possibly miss this. You mix with the crowd and soon find a convenient place to listen and watch what is about to unfold. On the steps of the college you see a small tribune, guarded by 2 Arcanians armed with swords. This is the first time you have ever seen an Arcanian standing guard, let alone 2 of them. The doors of the college open to reveal a stately Arcanian surrounded by an honor guard. It is he, Cornelius Tempest, Grand Chancellor of the Empire, younger brother to the Emperor himself. He heads for the tribune and casts a look over the square. It is full of people in awe and utter silence. Long ago, humans witnessed the Arcanians' arrival. The 2 nations built the empire side by side. The provinces joined us one by one, and Magra was the final province to attain the absolute might and majesty of the blessed Arcanian Empire. Yet, there was another great event long before that. 4 centuries ago the twins had graced us with their presence. With their arrival, the twins granted us their will, they showed us their love and their law, and they granted us knowledge of what awaits us in the hereafter. They chose the dynasty of Tempest to rule the empire, and from that day forth our dynasty has ruled this land, ordained by the gods themselves. However, it is our duty to the twins not to seek power for power's sake, but rather to lead the empire to further prosperity, and so the great Imperial Council is soon to review and adopt a new set of laws called the Creed. Under the Creed, all estates will be granted rights. Under the Creed, there will be one law for all Imperial citizens to obey, human or Arcanian, from the lowliest commoner to the Emperor himself. The strife among the estates will end, a single law will resolve all of our quarrels. Glory to the Empire! The Great Chancellor throws his arms into the air. The crowd murmurs and applauds in approval. Cornelius Tempest casts another look around the crowd and leaves. The crowd disperses. The sounds of agitated discussion are everywhere. Is it true that the Emperor's dynasty seeks to grant equal rights to all estates? What will happen to the Empire then? So the struggle for power has increased. So we're looking more and more towards commoners getting into power. Our grandfather would shake in his grave. The girl from your past. This is Sophia. It is early morning. You have been awake since sunrise, studying. There is a knock at the door. It is a letter from home, or a hotel servant. You open the door and freeze, stunned. Hello, Brante. Before you stands Sophia, the girl who used to live next door. She is all grown up now. She looks so different, but you would always recognize those blue eyes no matter what. Oh god, I hope she doesn't kill us. I think because we saved her life before and didn't, we're kind of on a balance, maybe? You gesture for her to come in. Sophia enters the room, glances around, and sits in an armchair. You eye the girl you used to know as you sit across from her. But the young woman you see now has little in common with the girl you used to know. There is cold steel in the way she looks at things. Her hair is cut short. But what is she doing here? I can explain. I've been living in Eterna for a long time now. Ever since I ran from Anizot, I heard the other day that you'd left for the capital to get into the college, so I found you, and here I am. You ask how Sophia learned about your arrival and where you are staying, but she answers your question with an enigmatic smile. Well, I'll get to that later. Right now I want to see how much you've changed since we last saw each other. As for me, I've changed a lot. I'm a whole different person now. You look away as you recall your previous encounter, back when Sophia ran away from her Arcanian master. Sophia chuckles as she continues. Would you like to know what happened next? I travelled through the entire empire all alone. I had nothing. My journey ended only when I reached this place, the capital, with all of its important people and events. This is the heart of the empire. It's a place where I can make a difference. I've made friends here, found people I can truly call my family. I've even gotten an education of sorts, and I have a purpose now. I fight against injustice. I fight against the lots. I fight those who treat our lives like mud on the pavement. Because you've got the nobles at war with each other, the fates at war with each other, and the magicians as well. And no, I'm not afraid to tell you that I came to you for a good reason. I need help. I need you. I have faith. I know you, sorry. I have faith in your good heart, and besides, this is also about the Imperial College you want to enroll in. There was a scholar there by the name of Bartholomew Dextra. He teaches natural sciences at the college. Dextra is an old man, but he's quite progressive. He'll stop at nothing to advance science and acquire new knowledge. As you know, only second-generation nobles or above are allowed to teach at the college, but Dextra, he is a commoner. He forged his patent of nobility to get a position at the college, but the secret chancellery recently learned of this. Dextra is about to face true death for this forgery. But how is that justice? A man wants to teach people, and for this they're going to take all of his lives. They're going to punish him for the crime of being born in the wrong estate. It's evil and obscene, and I will not stand for it. Dextra deserves to be rescued. But I don't want to put anyone in danger, so I need your help. You're from a rich family. You're also almost a noble. If you help me get Dextra out of the city, nobody will suspect anything. No one will know, and the scholar will live on to continue his research elsewhere, far away from the secret chancellery. Will you help me? Oh no, she doesn't hate me, so that's good. I think if I had to let her die, we'd be at merciless for doing both of those decisions. You feel perplexed by Sophia's sudden request. She's asking you to break Imperial law and undermine the work of the Secret Chancellor to save the scholar. Rescuing Dextra would be an adventure, but it would be incredibly dangerous. And besides, Dextra is a fake noble. He resorted to lies and deceit to get his current position. How much does this matter to you? Sophia's blue eyes are studying you, waiting for your reply. Oh god, I don't know. I mean, what's the real noble thing to do here? Help him? He just wants to teach people, but he did also break the law. And I don't know if I want to get myself in trouble. Oh. I'm gonna help her. You promise to help Sophia. Bartholomew Dextra does not deserve this. He has to leave the capital, so she can count on you. I knew I could count on you, then we must act at once. There's no time to waste. Dextra is to be arrested tomorrow. Here's his address. Go there as soon as the sun sets. No one will suspect you. Dextra often tutors young men for the college entrance exams. Tell him the owl sent you. Use the back door to get out. A carriage will drive up to the backyard. The driver will hoot like an owl. He'll take you to the south gate. If the guards stop the carriage, just talk your way out of it. Once you're outside the city, Dexter will ride away in a different carriage. You'll go back to the way you came. I'll meet you in Majesty Square. Okay, I'm going to write this down. It'll come in handy later on, I think. So the owl is the key code. Backyard. South gate. You nod to her words, and your hands start to shake. You're about to go against the secret chancellery. You're going to help someone escape punishment. To defy your own lot like this, it's unthinkable. When the sun sets, you leave the lodging house and walk quickly, glancing over your shoulder repeatedly. Bartholomew Dexter's house must be somewhere around here. You find the place. A genteel old man opens the door. His face is covered in wrinkles, his shoulders are stooped, and yet his eyes are sharp and lively. Bartholomew Dexter looks at you for a moment, then asks why you have paid him a visit. You tell him you want to enroll in the college and that you are looking for a tutor. Dexter nods and invites you inside. Once you make sure nobody else can see or hear you, you whisper to the scholar about the real reason for your visit. The secret chancellor will be coming for him tomorrow, and he has to leave now to escape true death. Dexter freezes and turns to you. How do you know about him and the secret chancellery? You tell him that the owl sent you and has provided for his escape. As for the secret chancellery, they want him for forging a patent of nobility. The moment you utter Sophia's name, the lecturer calms down and starts packing for the journey. You watch him distractedly and notice that he lives in a rather austere fashion. It does not take him long to pack. I think it's meant to be you. You hear the quiet clacking of hooves in the yard. Carefully you and Dexter proceed to the backyard of the building. You see a carriage there. The driver hoots quietly. You get in. The carriage rolls down the road. There is tense silence in the closed-off space inside the carriage. The scholar wrings his hands anxiously. Through the carriage windows, you see the massive city gate passing by. You are almost outside the city, but then a loud voice reaches you. Halt! The driver obediently halts the carriage. The two city gendarmes approach you. You leave the carriage to face the gendarmes before they get a peek inside the carriage. They look you over and ask where you are going so late at night. You tell them that you are the son of a judge in Magra, here to enroll in the college, and right now you wish to visit the estate of a newfound friend. To convince them further, you mention the name of a noble son you have become friendly with. The gendarmes release the carriage and wish you a pleasant trip. You drive along the high road until you encounter a peasant wagon. Dexter will take it to seek new refuge far away from the capital. Before the two of you part ways, he pats you on the shoulder and tells you that you have done a truly brave deed. You return to the city without incident. You find Sophia in Majesty Square as agreed, sitting on a bench by a streetlight, reading a book of some sort. She closes the book when she sees you and offers you her hand. So, did everything go according to plan? Surprisingly it did, but I have no doubt it's going to come back to bite me in the backside. You nod. Then we've earned ourselves a bit of free time. Let's go. You set off on a walk through the maze of narrow streets. Finally you have some time for questions. What happened to Sophia over the last 2 years? She was just a girl before, a servant. How is she now a revolutionary? Sophia just smiles sadly. You've seen what I can do. It's not just a girl. The Inquisition caught up with me when I ran away from Anizot. I ended up in the House of Humility, a dreadful place. I got collared. Do you know how it feels to lose your free will, losing everything that makes you, you? She unclaps the tall shirt collar that had been hiding her neck all this time, and you see the round mark from the anti-magic collar. They say a scar like this will remain even after a lesser death, but I got lucky. Patriarch Eunice Diamant saved me. Oh, the plot thickens. Diamant took me and the other mages from the House of Humility and removed our colours. He made me one of his attendants. He taught me that there are no lots. He told me that I am like this not because I'm a freak, but because it's my nature. He told me I can find a path to the twins like anyone in the world. And then I was taken. I got out on my own. I found my own lot, to protect the common people from the noble yoke, to help others who are as unlucky as I am, to fight for a different world, a world where everybody has equal rights, a world where mages don't just get robbed of their will just because one aspect of their birth, a world where the nobles no longer tread upon the commoners. Yes, that is our dream, but we are still so far away from it, but I will keep moving towards it, and I will stop at nothing. A strange, distorted expression appears on Sophia's face, but she quickly returns to normal. You keep walking until you are at your old lodging house again. For a moment you just stand there looking at each other. Then suddenly Sophia embraces you. For a moment she remains still in your arms and whispers, You should join my cause. If we work together, one day we'll become a force to be reckoned with. I know you came here to find your way, but I'll never believe you really want to bind yourself to other people's laws and desires for the rest of your life. The path I walk is dangerous. It's almost hopeless, but it's worth living for. Think about it. Goodbye. Nice, she likes me. Then she withdraws just as quickly and disappears in the dark streets of Eterna. You make your way back to your room, exhausted by the events of the day. Was this really just a single day in your life? Oh, our fighting's gone up, that's good. And our scheming. I wonder if nobility would have went up if we had refused to help her, but we'll see.
I will never forget that day. For it was then that I chose the path I would walk for the rest of my life.
Whew. Here we are. I really hate to leave it on a cliffhanger, but this video's gone on for long enough, so let me know how you think things are going. What lot should I choose? Should I stick with my plan to become a noble? Should I change it? I'm excited to hear what you think, so thanks very much for watching and take care, have a nice day.